The Hell Maw was built around a single, well-protected, trapped core loot room, and be doable for dedicated solos, duos and trios. It gets its name from its core, which was littered with undrainable traps, and therefore made every door raid a hell of an undertaking. Since people are still building this 14-month-old design, I felt it's time to bring it into 2019 and adapt it to today's build system. And this is how it looks like. The Hell Maw 2. Like in version 1, the footprint makes sure that there's at least 3 walls between the core and the outside world. However, version 2 places the chute outside of that hexagon for a bit more space. The core itself has become more open to provide more space for other team members. The TC is behind 2 reinforced glass windows surrounded by armored walls, protecting it from 27 rockets from any angle. It is still rigged with several layers of undrainable traps that will considerably slow down any door raid. Unlike its predecessor, it can be built from a starter unit and does not require a separate starter base. The base now has roof access, which doubles as minicopter hangar, which is important since minicopters have become so vital. If you're not afraid of using electricity, I'll demonstrate how to automate the minicopter hangar door and how to add 3 external turrets for raid defense. The cost is about 19k stone, 9k metal frags and 150 high qual, resulting into a daily upkeep about 3.4k stone, 3.3k metal frags and 29 high qual. We begin the tour from the roof, arriving with the minicopter. The garage door opens automatically for us. This door needs to be open in order to be able to park the minicopter fully inside of the hangar. This door leads down into the second floor of the core. Here we find furnaces, a tier 3 workbench and boxes, which can, for example, contain materials for crafting. Behind this door is the chute that leads into the ground floor of the core, the most protected area of the base. As you can see, there are several lines of shotgun traps, making this raid a very difficult one. On the left hand side, going through these glass windows, we find a vending machine and a TC. Store your most valuable items here, as this is the most protected area of the base. Let's head back upstairs. Through these doors, we enter the corridor that circles around the second floor of the core. Here we find all kinds of utility items such as furnaces, beds, lockers, batteries, and so on. Behind those windows, we find the optional auto turret pods that as usual can be opened and closed from within the safety of the base. Those turrets can be turned on and off by switches that are placed in the chute. Outside of the corridor, we find the ground exit. The airlock works via 2 single doors, and it features windows that allow you to check the outside of both sides of the base. Let's jump into the build. First of all, test whether the footprint fits. Start with a hexagon, surrounded with another ring of triangles. For the ground exit, add 2 more sets of 3 triangles each. We build the base from the core out. Go to the core hexagon and locate the triangle that is furthest away from the exit. Place the TC there and guard it with reinforced glass windows. If you don't have those glass windows yet, continue with the starter unit to protect it with the door. Place 2 walls and a wall frame for a wooden double door. Place another double door and then 2 more walls around the core. A third double door will allow to work these doors as airlock. I'll leave the ceiling off so you can see where to place the starter items. My recommendation would be 3 furnaces in front of the TC, 2 large boxes on the floor behind the TC, the tier 1 workbench next to the furnaces, and up to 2 sleeping bags wherever they fit. Be careful not to place the tier 1 workbench too close to the door, or the game may not allow you to replace it. Once you saved enough metal fragments, upgrade the doors to sheet metal. You may have to pick up the sleeping bag to replace them. Run outside, upgrade this foundation, and place an upgraded triangle at half height. Head back inside and create a shelf for 2 more boxes. You may have to temporarily remove the door to place those boxes. And that's the starter unit complete. Next, let's work on the core of the second floor. Place 2 double doors, one above the exit and one above the half-height triangle, and 4 more walls around the rest of the core. Again, I'm leaving the ceiling open so you can better see where everything goes. Here, build a wall inside of the core. Add 2 more double doors around the door that leads to the triangle step. Make sure that they open towards that door. On the left side, create another loot room and close it off with a door as well. More sleeping bags can go in front of that loot room. Place a furnace into the single triangle and a roof exit on top of it. Finally, close off the ceiling. We now build the chute that connects the first floor and the second floor of the core. Build a floor tile above the door. Then jump down, upgrade the triangle in front of the ground exit and build walls around it. Include a triangle at half height on the second floor. Use a ladder or a furnace to reach the top. In case you have already stumbled over a shotgun trap, use it to guard the chute. From this moment on, you will have to enter and exit the base via the second floor. Now let's work on the main base. Upgrade all foundations to stone. Place a double door here. Then surround the whole perimeter with stone walls. Add floor tiles apart from the 2 locations next to the 2 double doors. Head to the front of the base and build an airlock onto the 3 triangles as shown. Now build walls around the second floor. In case you want to add auto turrets, I'd recommend to place at least 3 windows, 1 above the exit and 2 on the sides. Otherwise, use a mix of walls and windows as you like. For the windows, decide for yourself if you want to just use them as outlook or whether you want to have the option of shooting out of them. I would use reinforced glass windows and wooden shutters. Then close off the ceiling. By now, you have hopefully obtained garage doors. Bit by bit, you should replace all double doors with garage doors. These are the most urgent ones. The first one should be the one right behind the airlock. This allows you to close off the triangle behind it and place this jump up. The second one should be the garage door of the core that leads to the roof. This allows you to place 2 more furnaces into this triangle and still be able to jump onto the roof. Next, upgrade the doors in the core as they are most vital for raid defense. Then prioritize whichever double door is most annoying and upgrade that one next, until you have upgraded all double doors to garage doors. Since you can now access the roof, head there. Place 2 garage doors as shown. And then surround the rest of the hexagon with either windows or walls. If both of the outer garage doors are open, the space will be sufficient for 1 minicopter. However, you can use this space also as lookout or spawn point. Next, let's place the tier 2 workbench. I'd recommend to put it inside of the corridor, just in front of the entrance into the core. The structure of the base is now complete. What is missing are upgrades and Honeycomb in order to bring up the raid cost. Head down to the core. Upgrade to armored, the building blocks around the TC and the adjacent triangle, as well as all the ceiling floor tiles. Everything else, apart from the window frames, should be upgraded to sheet metal. Clear out the space in front of the TC and add in a second window frame. One great use of the space between the window frames is for a vending machine that stores high value loot. If raiders break the vending machine while raiding the base, the loot will despawn, so it's perfect for storing your explosives. Use campfires with water purifiers or cursed cauldrons to make it easier to crouch through those window frames. By now you should be able to close them off with reinforced glass windows. Since you may have to remove boxes to upgrade the walls of the loot room, this represents a great opportunity to also place shotgun traps. I'd recommend to place 2 shotgun traps per level. Then you should be able to fit 6 large boxes on the ground. And since we're at it, let's place 1 more shotgun trap per triangle. If raiders defeat 1 trap, the next one is already waiting for them. On the second floor of the core, upgrade every wall and ceiling to sheet metal. Upgrade the wall frames as well, because if they remain stone, they occasionally take damage through the wall if the wall is upgraded to sheet metal. Upgrade the walls around the chute that lead to the roof as well. I would also place a shotgun trap into this triangle, pointing at the roof exit. This way, raiders would have to deal with an undrainable trap when raiding through the roof. Upgrade the floor tile above the chute to armored, and the floor tile above the door that leads into the corridor to sheet metal. Make sure that the outer walls of the chute are surrounded by 2 garage doors each, and upgrade the ceiling above them to sheet metal. These are necessary to ensure that the TC will be a 27 rocket raid from any angle. Once you obtain a tier 3 workbench, place it next to the chute. Flip it around 180 degrees with the R key before placing it. If you cannot place it, check whether the garage door below is still open. Place the workbench as far back against the wall and as far right as you can. Before you rotate it back, place a small box underneath it. A second one will fit next to it once the workbench is rotated back. If placed correctly, you should be able to replace the adjacent garage doors without problem. Since we just placed shotgun traps, my suggestion would be to add 2 more shotgun traps to the roof hanger. 1 guarding the outer door and 1 guarding the chute. You may have wondered why we still have this hole in the floor. This way, we were able to delay building the sheet metal honeycomb, which gives the core its strength, and prioritize the useful space of the base. Jump down and first upgrade all foundations adjacent to the core to sheet metal. The same goes for the floor tiles above those foundations. Now surround them with sheet metal walls. Consider separating those 2 stone foundations with a stone wall. While that does not increase the minimum raid cost, it makes it harder for raiders to use splash damage. At the last bit, you either have to use 2 half walls or use a full wall and lock yourself in. Finally, close off the hole in the wall with a sheet metal floor tile. I almost forgot to add 2 more garage doors in front of the entrance of the core. The core loot is now protected from 20 rockets, the TC from 27. At this point, the corridor is complete and should provide you with the basic necessities. It provides you with plenty of space for more items, such as a row of furnaces with boxes, beds and lockers, electricity, and whatever else you desire. Since auto turrets now run on power, electricity is no longer optional. We still got 3 spots for auto turrets reserved. On the 2 sides, place sheet metal floor tiles in front of the windows and close them off with garage doors. The third auto turret compartment goes above the airlock. Remember to upgrade the floor tile to sheet metal. We don't want raiders to be able to pickaxe them out easily. For the primary power supply, we will use 4 solar panels, stacked in the way as suggested by Rusteddy. If I understand correctly, they need to face north for the most reliable power supply. Channel their power into a single connection via root combiners. To make sure that the system continues running throughout the night, we need to find a space for a large battery. Next to it, place 2 electrical branches, 1 blocker and an OR switch. Route the primary power into the output of the first branch. Set the branch value to 40. Connect the branch out to the OR switch. Connect the power out to the next electrical branch unit. Connect the power out to the large battery. Connect the branch out to the blocker. Set that next electrical branch value to 2. Lastly, connect the large battery to the blocker and the blocker to the OR switch. This setup ensures that as long as there's 40 power, which is exactly what you need to run those 3 auto turrets, the circuit is fed from the solar panels. All the excess energy is used to charge the large battery. The moment the power level drops below 40, the large battery takes over. Next, find a space for the switches for the auto turrets. You need those electrical switches to turn them on and off, because they can only be refilled if there's no electrical power running to them. I decided to have those components inside of the core, as they are quite safe there. You could also put the switches next to the turrets, which would be more convenient to refill them, but raiders could have an easier time to just locate them and turn them off. Place 3 electrical branches and 3 switches, 1 for each auto turret. Set the power value of each branch to 11. Connect the branch out sockets to the switches, and the power out sockets to the next branch. Finally, connect each of the switch to one of the auto turrets. If you like the idea of automating the hangar door on the roof, go first to the branch next to the large battery and increase the branch power to 45. Head to the roof and place a heartbeat sensor in the wall frame and a door controller next to the outer door. Connect the door controller with the output of the heartbeat sensor, and the input of the heartbeat sensor with the output of the last branch from the auto turrets. Pair the garage door with the door controller and you're done. Whenever you approach the door to enter the garage, the outer door opens automatically. If you're worried about how this might play out in a raid, place the heartbeat sensor in front of the door. This way the automatism only works when you enter the base. Though I believe that it might be an excellent way of trapping raiders by accident. With the extra power consumption, you might need to keep an eye on whether the large battery lasts throughout the night. If it tends to run empty, add 1 or 2 more solar panels for faster recharging. And this is the Hell Maw base brought to late 2019. May it bring you safely through the wipe. Until then, Evil Wurst out.